So welcome back. So today's video is going to be another anime video. There's a series on HBO now. At least, okay. So this is my preface. I know of the series because of HBO Max. Okay, it has probably been on other things. People have probably heard of it before. I'm just late to the party. It's fine. I just recently started watching it. So we're going to talk about it. It's called Tokyo Revengers. So let's get into that. The show is interesting. The concept in general is just different. So, okay, so before I get into it, I usually say this further into my whole little rant, whatever thing that I'm doing. Spoilers. Okay, so choose if you want to continue to listen. Keep listening. Why not? It's just you already clicked on the video. Just watch it. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Just keep going. All right, so the show is an interesting take on what I feel like I've seen has happened in a lot of different shows, or at least a lot of different animes, where they do you meet a character, you meet them on the last day of their life, and then the show picks up from there. So like Yu Yu Hakusho, like different other shows, you meet them basically like where the story ends. You see, I'm doing okay. Hold on, let's do this, bro. Ends. Because obviously the show's not going to end right there. Well, I mean, at least currently the show doesn't end right there. Okay? So the way that the show starts, the way that the show kind of develops itself, is there's this character. They are introduced to you as... I'm trying to think of a nice way to say that. The character is seen as... There isn't a lot going on with them. Let's say it that way. Okay, there's not a lot going on with the character, and they're on their way to get onto the train, and someone pushes them onto the train tracks. Okay, so that's how you're introduced to the character. There's a little bit more there. I mean, watch the show. I mean, it's a good show, but there's a little bit more there. But the gist of it is, the person is there. They get pushed onto the train tracks, and everybody's screaming. Mind you, nobody's helping. Like, nobody has jumped onto the train tracks trying to help this person. Like, kid gets pushed onto the train tracks and nobody is even attempting to help anything. Okay. So, the train's coming. It's about to hit them and cut. Okay. So, the premise of this show is that the main character is able to go back in time 12 years to the day from whenever he interacts with another person. So, and it's a very specific person. It's only one person that he interacts with. Like, everybody else in his life doesn't do anything. But if he interacts with the little brother of the girl that he was dating in elementary school, like elementary, middle school, and they shake hands, like they interact, they touch hands, he travels in time, forward or back. Okay, interesting concept. Like it's different. I mean, just that being the device for the time travel is interesting because it's the thought process of like if you're interacting with everybody that you know, and it's somebody who's the satellite people of the people you know. So let's think a best friend, a relationship you've had. You're not always thinking about, okay, the person that they interact with, like a sister, brother, family member, you don't always just like shake their hand or interact with them. So it makes sense that this person has potentially never shaked the hand of that person before this moment, right? Okay. So you're introduced to the little brother character. The little brother character became a police officer because he's trying to stop the death of his sister. The death of his sister happens as a result of this gang that exists, and the main character is going back in time to try and stop the gang and change the future, save her, and to save the little brother because they both die on the same day as a result of this gang that exists in Tokyo. It's a whole thing. He goes back, keeps changing things. There's one sort of like, oh no, he shook his hand by accident. Now he's going back and he didn't mean to. But for the most part, he goes back. He's changing things, and I won't spoil too much. I'm spoiling kind of like the build up to the show. I mean, what I said about how he travels in time, you learn that fairly quick. So it's not a huge spoiler. So I'll try and leave out certain key things. But there are plot beats that get introduced as he travels more and more because obviously it can't just be there's one problem, he fixes it at the end of the show. There's new things. Like he needs to fix a problem, he goes back, he tries to fix the problem, he comes back, oh no, that didn't change it enough. Goes back, fixes it, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Up until close to the end, I think it's episode like 13, 14, something happens. I won't say what happens. Watch the show. It's a good show. Something happens, and you're like, oh, okay, so the show is going to have to go that direction. It'll make more sense when you watch the show. Like, I'm trying not to spoil it too much. I'm spoiling the idea that he's going back and forth and he's trying to change things. It's not helping enough. That is a spoiler, because if you're watching, you're like, oh, he's making the attempts. Maybe it changes things. And when he goes back, his life now is different. He's living a different life. It's not necessarily that. Like he keeps finding that there's this one person who is like the main problem and the main person that's forcing the gang to be this issue, and he's not able to stop that person from being involved in the gang and it causing a problem, even though he becomes ingratiated with the people of the gang, because it's a bunch of people that are like in middle school at this point, and they're creating like this little ragtag gang, and then they grow to heights where they're actually a problem in his future. It's 12 years later. I would suggest most people watch the show. I don't know if there's a second season. To be honest, all I know is the one season that's up currently on HBO, and it's a good show. I hope they do more seasons. I want to find out more about it. It was just one of those, it's new on HBO, and it was recommended to me, and I was like, it's a new show for me to watch. Let me see what this is about. And I didn't think I was going to enjoy the show that much. I mean, there isn't like a ton of action in the show. There's some, but there isn't like a ton of action. But the story development is great. So I would recommend really anyone who likes anime, try it out. Like it's a decent show to watch. And no one recommended to me the show. You know, it's like I didn't go in with expectations. I mean, if you're going to take my recommendation, you are now going in with expectations. Hopefully I don't oversell it. I mean, it's a good show, but hopefully you don't go into it like, what was this guy? He's crazy. I didn't like that show. But it's good. Like the story, the character development is good. I'm trying not to give away too much because I want you to be able to be interested in the show, watch it, but then still have things that surprise you. Still have story elements where you're like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. So I'm trying to leave a little bit out so that there's something there for you to kind of attach to. Comment down below if there's any other animes that you can think of. I've seen a fair bit of anime that I'll be just making reactions to. But if there's something specific you want me to react to, by all means. And then because The Matrix is coming out, this is an anime related, it's just something I'm thinking about. Because Matrix is coming out, I'm going to probably be reacting to the Matrix movies. And if you'd like to see that, comment below. Say I want to see you talking about the Matrix movies. And if I'm able to, because this is all being recorded around the time where I'm trying to put up a reaction, putting copyrighted stuff, and I'm seeing how YouTube goes with that. So if I'm able to, I might put in some clips and do like a Matrix reaction. I've seen the movie, so it wouldn't be like a live reaction. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But like me talking about the film. If you'd like to see that, let me know.